Never.
Yep, we're ready.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Welcome to Saturday morning story time with the Silver Unicorn. Hi, good morning. We're just going to wait a few minutes for everybody to come in. Welcome to say hi in the chat. Very excited to have Janet and Nancy here today. Welcome, welcome.
Good to be here.
There's people out there. We don't
can't
know.
see them. Can you see them? I
Oh,
can't see
there's a
them.
comment.
Oh, Kira's here. Hi, Kira. Oh, yay. So fun. I'm admiring your bookshelves, Janet.
I'm in my we're in my little hidey hole, and I like it in here.
I love it. It's very cozy.
It is very cozy right now.
Cozy in a good way. It matches the cozy tone of your book that we're going to talk about today.
Aww, that's true.
Welcome, everybody. We're just waiting for everyone to come in. Zoom sometimes takes a little while, but we're so happy you're all here. It's a perfect day for a Saturday story time, isn't it?
Yes,
It is.
A little bit rainy.
Sit inside, cozy up.
Yep. I have my fuzzy socks on. Mhm.
And it has something fuzzy too.
Oh, I've got some fuzzies here too.
Grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your juice box.
Cheers.
My water. Cheers.
Nice juice box.
I don't, because they always squirt it out the top.
That's the part.
Oh,
Used it outdoor.
Yes.
it's so fun you guys are together. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a sign of
Nice to have one less
in-person
screen.
in-person events coming back, which I can't wait for.
At least
Although it is,
two-person event.
yeah. We'll start somewhere. All right, well, let's get started. I want to say an official welcome and good morning to everybody who's joined us this morning for Saturday Story Time. My name is Casey Robinson. I'm the events manager at the Silver Unicorn Bookstore, and this is our Saturday morning story time. We are extra lucky today to have not one, but two amazing authors with us to talk about their books this morning. Welcome to Nancy Tupper Ling, author of this wonderful collection of poems and prayers, talking about finding joy in everyday moments throughout the day. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you.
And hello and welcome to Janet Costa Bates, who has written this wonderful picture book. Look at this cover. Time for Bed, Old House, which she's going to share with us today. And I love the pairing of these books, you two. Perfect for a full day. Joy in everyday moments and cozy wrap up bedtime story time at the end. So it's this is a good pairing for us to have today. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
We'll do a story sandwich.
I love it. More stories, the better. So everyone who has logged in today, thank you for being here. We can have questions and answers at the end after Janet and Nancy share their work with us. We encourage you to say hello in the chat. You can put questions in the chat or questions in the Q&A, and I'll be back to help facilitate all those questions and answers after they are sharing their beautiful stories. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Casey and Silver Unicorn. Yeah, so we are going to sandwich a little, right? We don't really, yeah. So we're going to do a few poems to wake up your morning, and then we're going to do Janet's story, which might make you a little bit ready for nap.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And then Janet and I will take a little nap, then we'll wake up. No. And then we'll do some more poetry.
We'll read, then we'll nap. We promise to stay awake this entire time. We promise.
All right, we'll see how this goes. But yes, thank you to Casey. And I am going to be reading from For Every Little Thing, which I just have to say is the beautiful artwork is by Helen Kahn, who lives in Brighton, England. And June Cottner and I did not write all these poems. We gathered them. There's a few of mine in here, but we gathered poems from living poets and a few dead poets. But anyway, this is For Every Little Thing with if you know the bird on the cover, it is the bobolink, thanks to Emily Dickinson. So I'm going to start by reading my poem For Every Little Thing, which is sort of about the whole theme of the book is gratitude. I'm actually going to have them look at this beautiful picture with Helen Kahn's art while I read For Every Little Thing. No, it's okay. Thank you. For every little thing, for morning song and gentle brook, a faithful friend, a favorite book, for robin's eggs and swinging trees, the daffodils and dancing bees, for ladybugs and butterflies, bluebirds, breezes, cloud-filled skies, for kittens mew and horses neigh, the golden sun that ends my day. I thank my God for scales and wings, for each and every little thing. So that kind of sets the tone of the book, just finding gratitude in little things that you see throughout the day. And this first poem, I think Suzanne is here. Suzanne Bunch wrote this wonderful poem, and it is this one over here. My day begins with kisses. And there's a dog, because there always needs to be a dog. So my day begins with kisses, the slobbery doggy kind. That's how my puppy wakes me up. I guess I shouldn't mind. I know he wants his breakfast. He's waiting to be fed. I simply wish he wouldn't drool across my sleepy head. So that one is by Suzanne Wiggins Bunch, who is here. And I'm so glad she's here. We've never met in person, but I love her poetry. So this next one is the page that is the book cover is based on this page. And I think we'll read Emily Dickinson is over here. It's okay. I know Janet's trying to help out. She's like, what are you doing?
Nancy's got this.
I got this. I got it here. So here's the bobolink. And we're going to read I'll Tell You How the Sun Rose by Emily Dickinson, which is one of my favorites. I'll tell you how the sun rose, a ribbon at a time. The steeples swam in amethyst. The news like squirrels ran. The hills untied their bonnets and the bobolinks begun. There he is. Then I said softly to myself, that must have been the sun. So there's a little Emily for your morning. We always have to throw a little Emily in there. So this one kind of moves a little bit through seasons as well as through the day. Like Casey said, it starts with the morning and moves through your day. This one is summer, so we're going to be looking forward to some summertime sometime. And this is kind of cool because this poem down here is by an 8-year-old, Nicole Vandermeer, age 8. So I love to tell kids that you can submit your poetry at any age, which is a great thing. You don't have to wait until you're super famous. So this one's called Bugs. Big bugs under leaves, going places nobody sees, which is fun. And then the firefly one over here, The Fireflies Are Back, is by Bill McTaggart. And that one is a glitter of light on a warm June night. The fireflies are back. A neon display spelling out hooray. The fireflies are back. Golden-tailed kings, fireworks with wings. The fireflies are back. Make a wish on a star in a mason jar. The fireflies are back. So just, I love fireflies. So just one more, and then we'll get to Janet's story. Let's see, 32. This one is All Kinds of Thanks by Martha Baker. And I love seeing all the different shoes there. So it says, for the food upon my plate, I say thank you very much. For the clothes upon my back, I say merci beaucoup. For the sandals on my feet, I say arigato. For the books upon my desk, I say muchas gracias. For the blessings of this day, I give thanks in lots of ways. So I just love how that includes so many different cultures in that one poem.
That's
so,
kind of neat. They're all very neat.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I love that. So that was the
beginning of your day.
Bottom piece of bread in our story sandwich. And now for the middle,
Which
we have,
really is the best part, but
no, they're all good. We have Time for Bed, Old House, written by me and illustrated beautifully by A.G. Ford. He's an illustrator out in Texas and he does great work. So that's from A.G. So we'll put that aside.
Can I help you hold, or you got this?
I think I got this.
All right.
If not, I'm going to yell out for help. And I
Okay.
know you'll be right here because we're kind of cozy in here.
I'm not going anywhere.
Cozy's good today. So Time for Bed, Old House. You see Isaac is with his grandpa and his mother and father are going away for the night. So he's doing his first sleepover at Grandpa's house. There we go. Isaac loved the new pajamas he got for his first sleepover at Grandpa's house. He loved laughing and playing with Grandpa, but he didn't love the thought of sleeping away from home. But he does have his little bear. And I forgot to show you. I've got my little lovey here. My grandson calls him Bunny, but I stole him for a little while. So I've got Bunny. We're going to sit Bunny right over here. I don't know if you can see him, but there's Bunny.
No, we're going to sit him right here.
Oh, there we go. And I've got my granddaughter's bunny slippers. So we're gonna sit them right here so they can listen to the story too. So even though it's not bedtime, we are all cozied up over here. We've got our loveys and we've got our book. And we'll see how
Casey says
Isaac
lots
does.
of clapping. That's so nice.
I'm not sleepy, Isaac said. Then stay awake, Grandpa said. But it's time to put the house to bed. I never heard of putting a house to bed, said Isaac. Well, little buddy, said Grandpa, let me show you and Bear how it's done. First, you move kind of quiet and slow. Grandpa took soft, slow steps across the room. Isaac took soft, slow steps behind him. Now, let's make it nice and dark and cozy, Grandpa said as he turned off the light. Click, click, click. What's that noise? Asked Isaac. He reached for Grandpa's hand. Ooh, what is that noise? That's just Snuffles, Grandpa said. The old dog plodded across the floor, nails clicking. Isaac leaned down to give Snuffles a pat. With Isaac and Snuffles following, Grandpa stepped softly down the hallway. He paused at the light switch and looked at Isaac. Isaac reached up and turned it off. Squeak, squeak, squeak. What's that noise? Asked Isaac. Grandpa brought Isaac over to the window and pointed. The wind is blowing your swing back and forth, he said. Isaac could see it moving in the moonlight. Now come on, sport. We're not done yet. Grandpa carefully pulled down the shades. Looks like this house is closing its eyes to sleep, he said. Creak, creak, creak. What's that noise? Asked Isaac.
Getting nervous.
The old house makes sleepy sounds, just like you. You yawn, you stretch. I bet you even snore, said Grandpa. I don't think I snore, said Isaac. Grandpa shrugged, but if you're sleeping, how do you know? He chuckled loudly, then caught himself and put his hand over his mouth. Come on, little pal, Grandpa said softly. They tiptoed up the stairs. They went into Mama's old bedroom. Time to read a bedtime story to the house, Grandpop said quietly to Isaac. But I can't read yet, Isaac said quietly to Grandpop. I bet you can read pictures. Grandpop settled himself into the big chair by the bed and held out a book to Isaac. Just tell me what you see on each page. Isaac climbed onto Grandpop's lap and described the first picture. A little boy is looking out the window. There's snow on the ground. Isaac turned the page. He's outside wearing a red jacket. Good job, said Grandpa. Keep going. When Isaac finished reading the pictures in the book, he rested his head on Grandpa's shoulder. He could hear him breathing slow and steady. He looked up and saw that he had read Grandpa to sleep. Isaac carefully climbed off the chair. He covered Grandpa with a blanket. Then, taking soft, slow steps, Isaac walked over to the window. He gently closed the shade and whispered, "Time for bed, old house." When the grandfather clock chimed from the hallway, Isaac put his fingers to his lips. "Shh, Mr. Clock. Shh." Isaac settled himself into the bed, picked up a book, and in a soft voice read the pictures to Bear. When he was done, he quietly turned off the lamp. Click, click, click. He reached out to pet Snuffles. Squeak, squeak, squeak. He thought of the fun he and Bear would have on the swing tomorrow. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Tonight, he would sleep well in the old house. And if that old house could hear, it too would have heard bedtime noises. Snore, snore, and snore. There we go. I hope he's still awake.
Bunny is not awake.
Bunny
fell asleep.
Bunny's sleeping. We'll just hold Bunny right here. Night, night, Bunny.
Night, night,
He might wake up for a
That was
poem
awesome.
or two.
I
He
loved
might wake
hearing
up
it
for a
again.
poem or two.
Aw. Well, all right. I'm just going to read a few more poems
Mhm.
now that we're in the sleepy time mode. And up here, it's like really gray outside. So it is the perfect day.
Cozy up with some tea.
Yeah. All right. This one is called Our Family. And as you can see, family can look very different. Our family comes from many homes. Our hair is straight. Our hair is brown. Our hair is curled. Our eyes are blue. Our skins are different colors too. We're girls and boys. We're big and small. We're young and old. We're short and tall. We're everything that we can be, and still we are a family.
Yay.
That one is by Anonymous.
Does Anonymous have a last name?
Anonymous doesn't have a last name. It's just Anonymous. This one is one of my favorite pictures, again, that Helen did of nightfall. And right before it, this is a poem I wrote about family as well. It's called My Family's Home. If I could search the world around and joy within my heart be found, I know what I would love the best. My family's home where I am blessed. And if you look in here, there's so many little animals. There's like owls in the tree and raccoon. There's a raccoon over here kind of sleeping on the limb. So that's kind of fun to find the different animals throughout.
Very cool.
So I'm just gonna, maybe I'll just read one more here. Let's see. I don't want to take too much time because I know there might be some questions. I'll read the last one, which is called Dreamland Train. Once you're going off to sleep.
Good night.
And Janet, I'm gonna give you a role here. After
Okay.
every line, can you say all aboard?
I can do that.
Okay,
I can do that.
You too say all aboard after the main line. So The Dreamland Train. There's one little train to Dreamland.
All aboard.
One little engine puffing magic steam.
All aboard.
One little engineer with eyes agleam.
All aboard.
One little station, tickets free inside.
All aboard.
One little yawn, that's all it costs to ride.
Oh yeah, all aboard.
One little eye to close and then the other.
All aboard.
And then a million wonders to discover. All aboard. That's by Tim Myers. Great job, Janet.
Oh, good morning. I'm awake. I'm awake.
So thank you everyone for listening.
And we see all of your comments. Thank you so much.
See friends.
First of all, I'm super cozy now.
Oh, she's got her lovey and her.
And I have my lovey. This is Bun.
Oh, here, Bunny says hi to Bun.
Hi, Bunny. You two should go on a road show with this. Perfect pairing.
Janet show.
We get too
And
sleepy.
Bunny, don't forget me, Bunny.
Hello,
That
all
was-
our friends out there too. I see Kim's out there and Tammy and
Lots of comments in the chat. Everybody's feeling cozy, right? Kim agrees. A road show must be in the works. You heard it here first. Silver Unicorn. I'm going to put links to your books in the chat for anybody who wants to order a copy from Silver Unicorn. Let me just.
yeah, and on the road trip, somebody can come visit the Silver Unicorn, right?
Yes,
Store. And it's under
absolutely.
3 feet tall. There is a perfect door.
Mm.
I love that door.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, you could fit, Bunny. You could.
It is a pretty magical place for kids in particular, I have to say. I love it. Okay, many questions for you two. And anyone else who has questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat or in the Q&A. All right. Kira has a question for you, Janet. What was your inspiration for your picture book? Can you share a little bit about that?
I can. When this book was thought of, I guess, years ago. In fact, do I still have it here? When my first son was born, when he was way smaller than this. Tammy recognizes this face. When he was way smaller than this, still just a little tiny infant, I used to walk around the house at nighttime and I would tell him, I'm going to close the shades, I'm going to turn off the lights, I'm closing the door to kind of get him nice and settled for sleep. And he was a good sleeper. I probably didn't even need to do that. And then this guy was born. Yes, this one. He never slept. He was wide awake 24/7. And I needed this book. Maybe that's why I wrote it, because I needed this book to help him get to sleep. So hopefully there's some other parent out there who will realize that this is a cozy book that might help your kids go to sleep. But that was the inspiration. I didn't start writing it for a number of years later. When I really figured out this is what I want to do. I want to write children's books. So I wrote it. I sent it out and they said, oh, no, not there yet. So I put it in a drawer for a long time.
Did you really?
I did. Yes, for years. And then I took it out and I said, I'm going to do some revising. So if it's not good the first time, you just keep going. You keep trying, you do it over. Do-overs are perfect when it comes to writing and a lot of other things. So it eventually got better.
Yeah, I love too that we all have like a place that, like, as a child, that was a little bit scary to stay over. I mean, it was wonderful during the daytime, but then at night you started hearing all those weird noises.
Yeah.
So it's so good for any child traveling to a different home or yeah, I should have it. Oh, I do have it.
I do have it.
Yeah.
You do have it. Signed.
Nancy, question for you also from Kira. Thank you, Kira.
Oh, thank
It's a
you.
good question asker, that Kira. Could you share a little bit about your process of soliciting the poems? I'm interested in that too, just because I know there's at least one child poem, the 8-year-old poem that I loved. But how was that? How did you facilitate that? And then how did you work with an editing process for the book? And in the illustrations, how did those come in? So just give us a big picture lay of the land and how you developed your book.
Sure. Well, so my co-author is really my mentor, June Cotner. She's been doing anthologies for years, and this is just a little tip for any writer. I asked her a question one time about, do you need help with anything? Because I had submitted to her books over the years and had just like a poem or two in them. And she said, yeah, do you want to co-author a book with me? And I was like, what? I was thinking like labeling and, like this is back in the old days. But anyway, so now we have several books that and the next one coming out is called Bless the Earth, but we do have a call for submissions. So if you're interested, you can find my website, nancytupperling.com, and just send me an email if you want to be on that call list. If you think that that's of interest to you. Some of them are adult books and some of them are for children. So that's how it began. And then we just had so many, like we had thousands of poems that we were looking through. So then we kind of start grouping them by like, we kind of rank them. I hate to say that, but like, what are number 4, like our top poems. And sometimes it's very sad. We have to get rid of some that we love just because we have only so much room per chapter.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, it's awful, especially since like we've been on the receiving end of those things too. But it's just there's many more topics that we're hoping to cover. So once you get on the mailing list, you'll see what we're interested in and whether you've written a poem on that. And certainly it can be a child, definitely.
Did you know that you wanted like the general framework? Did you have that in mind already when you put out your call for
Yeah, we put a proposal together and it gets accepted on the proposal, and the proposal had the chapters already. So, and also the competition and what else is out there already. So we do a lot of research up front, and then by the time we're ready for submissions, we start with maybe 20-25 poems in the proposal too. But sometimes sometimes Emily Dickinson gets bumped because there's something better. Anyway, and then the illustrations, like they took a year, so that's kind of typical. I don't know if that happened with yours.
Yeah, definitely. They do take a while, but it's worth it.
Janet, what was that like when you first saw the illustrations for Time for That Old House?
Yeah, it was very cool. There are things, I wish I could draw. I wish I could. I'm jealous of people who can write and draw and do their picture books and illustrate them. But I also realize that there are things that I probably wouldn't thought of to put into the book. Like one of my favorite things, I don't know if you can see, Isaac's little monster slippers slay me. They absolutely slay me. I just, there are details. I probably would have put just basic slippers on him. And if you look at Bear through the story, he's not static. Bear has different expressions. See if I can find another one. Like here, poor Bear is like upside down, but he's just going along for the ride. He has no problem with it. When they're reading the book at the end, Bear is, he's looking at the book. I just love those details. When Isaac comes into the room, when they're getting ready to read, Isaac is the one bringing in the blanket that Grandpa ends up getting covered with. So, there are just so many nice little extras, nice little details that you don't know are going to be there. And that's cool. It's the surprises that you find.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I love that. I love also when picture book illustrations continue to deliver new things when you read it. Every time you read it, you see something a little bit newer, a little bit different than you noticed before. That's always really fun.
And kids will see that because kids are brilliant and they're very good at observing, and they'll drink in the pictures, and they'll see things that you never saw before. So
yeah, they're brilliant. You know
Mhm.
what? That reminds me, one of the things I loved in your book, the parts that I loved the most was when the grandpops suggests that Isaac can read by reading the pictures.
Mhm.
I mean, be still my heart, first of all.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to ask you, what is the book they are reading? I have an idea about what it is, but did anybody else notice that? Does anyone on the call want to weigh in the chat about what book Isaac is reading? Maybe you can read that page for us, Janet.
And try to guess
Yes.
as I read the page.
There are some clues.
I feel like a very slow reader. I didn't even pick up on that. I gotta go back and look again. Wow.
Here we go. Isaac climbed onto Grandpop's lap and described the first picture. A little boy is looking out the window. There's snow on the ground. There's a big hint. Isaac turned the page. He's outside wearing a red jacket. And I know there are kids out there going, I know that book. Even the parents are going, I don't know that book. The kids are going, well, I do. And this is kind of a
Kim knows,
because it was my son's, but The Snowy Day.
Yeah.
Jack Keats, which is a favorite of many. So you see the snow in the red jacket, and you know it's the snowy day.
I love that.
Good job. Kim got that one. I'm sure a lot of people.
Yep. Clapping for Kim.
Yeah, Kira said, what a wonderful homage to Ezra Jack Keats. And yes, that was on purpose. That was on purpose.
I loved that. Nancy, when you were compiling the anthology, how did it feel very different from pulling together like a fictional story? How did the process feel to you as the as the author?
Yeah, it's much more editorial, like an editorial role. And yeah, it's easier for me to work with a co-author, co-editor in that way. And I'm just learning so much from June as we go. I think she relies on me a little bit for my experience with children's poetry, because she hasn't done that as much. But certainly I have learned so much in terms of like, sometimes it's easy to get a little revision from a poet too, and to make it so that it can really be included in the book. And usually poets are happy to do that. So yeah, it's a totally different process. It's much more like an administrative assistant sometimes too, when I send out all the permissions and things like that, more secretarial or whatever. So anyway, it's very different process, and I like it. It's a different change of pace for me. Whereas when I'm doing a fiction, I'm just in my own world and not communicating with others as much. So
yeah. I suspect the love is the same, the love that you feel when you hold the book in your hands and flip the pages and share it. Yeah.
The surprise at the end, just seeing when it's all done and what the illustrator envisioned is just amazing to me. Yeah. You know that, Casey, too. You know that.
It is a very particular kind of joy. I think I just love, both of these books there. I'm holding them up so everybody can see. Everyone needs copies of these. Luckily for you, we have them at the Silver Unicorn Bookstore in Acton. And you can also order online at silverunicornbooks.com. I just found, obviously, that I felt very cozy when I was reading and listening to you. And it's always a treat to hear the writers behind the books.
You need the money.
Funny is very cozy also. But these are both just celebrations of joy. They're celebrations of that feeling of cozy and happy and wonder that I think good picture books and picture book collections deliver. And both of these do that. So I'm very glad that you wrote these books. And I'm very glad that we have them at the store and that everyone here came today to listen on this very rainy, cozy Saturday.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for all of the attendees today for being here and for supporting independent bookstores and authors and illustrators.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Have a good Saturday, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a good
See you
day.
soon at the Silver
Bye.
Unicorn.
At the Silver Unicorn. Bye-bye.